You think you know what expensive looks like? You're picturing a Gucci belt, a first-class ticket to Dubai, or maybe a shiny new Tesla. But that is merely the premium tier, the stuff sold to people who want to look rich. Real wealth? Real wealth is invisible, and it operates in a parallel dimension of mundane objects you didn't even know could be upgraded. We are talking about $300 everyday teas, mattresses that cost as much as a house, and private fire crews that save your mansion while your neighbor's burns. Today, we are bypassing the luxury brands you know to expose the secret infrastructure of the ultra-elite. From $9,000 luxury wool sweaters to kidnap-and-ransom insurance, do rich people have elite versions of mundane things? The answer is a terrifying yes. You might think a white t-shirt is just a white t-shirt, but in the stratosphere of wealth, cotton is basically sandpaper. Let's start with the absolute basics. When you walk into a department store, you are choosing between cotton, polyester, or maybe a blend if you're feeling fancy. But the ultra-rich occupy a completely different material reality. They aren't wearing the same fabrics as us, just with a bigger logo. In fact, if it has a giant logo, it's probably aimed at the aspirational middle class, not the truly wealthy. The real money is in materials like Vicuña. This is wool shorn from a wild camel-like animal in the high Andes of Peru that can only be sheared once every 3 years. A simple sweater made from this fiber, sold by brands like Loro Piana, can cost upwards of $9,000. Why? Because individual Vicuña fibers are about 12 microns in diameter, finer than the finest cashmere and significantly lighter. It regulates body temperature so efficiently that it feels like wearing a cloud that somehow knows if you're hot or cold. Or take the humble t-shirt. Mark Zuckerberg's famous gray tees aren't a 3-pack from Hanes. They are custom ordered from Brunello Cucinelli and cost roughly $300 to $400 a pop. They don't shrink, they don't pill, and they drape perfectly over a billionaire's torso. This is the first rule of elite mundane items. It's not about flash, it's about microscopic engineering. We spend a third of our lives asleep, so while you're flipping a pillow to find the cool side, the elite are sleeping on a bed that costs more than a Ferrari. If you have back pain, you might splurge on a Tempur-Pedic. But if you have GDP of a small nation money, you buy a Heston's Vividus. This isn't a mattress, it is a sleep instrument handmade in Köping, Sweden, taking 320 hours of labor to construct. The price tag? Anywhere from $200,000 to $500,000. And here is the concrete anchor. There is zero foam in this bed. Foam degrades. Instead, the Vividus is built using layer upon layer of hand-teased horsetail hair, cotton, wool, and flax, all sitting on a frame of slow-growing northern Swedish pine. The horsetail hair is the secret weapon. Each strand is a hollow tube that acts like a microscopic ventilation system, wicking away moisture so fast you never sweat. You don't wake up hot, you don't wake up cold, you just float. Drake, the rapper, famously has the Grand Vividus in his Toronto mansion. It weighs nearly a ton and smells faintly of natural flax and money. The concept here is longevity. A standard mattress lasts 7 years. A Heston's is designed to last 50 to 100 years. It is an heirloom. You are literally buying better unconsciousness. Rich people's kitchens often look like they were stolen from a 19th century French restaurant, and there is a very practical reason for that. Walk into a standard suburban home and you'll see Samsung or LG appliances, nice, functional, lots of touchscreens. But in a $50 million estate, touchscreens are considered tacky and prone to failure. The elite version of the stove is the La Cornue Chateau 150. These are hand-assembled in France, made to order, and start at around $50,000. They don't have Wi-Fi. They don't have apps. What they have is vaulted ovens that circulate heat naturally, solid brass burners, and a weight that requires reinforced floors. It is 600 pounds of cast iron and enamel. Then you have the refrigeration. You aren't buying a fridge, You're buying a preservation system. The Sub-Zero PRO 48 with the glass door costs about $18,000. It has dual refrigeration compressors, one for the fridge, one for the freezer, so dry freezer air never mixes with humid fridge air. This means your $5 organic kale stays crisp for 3 weeks, not 3 days. It also features an air purification system developed by NASA to scrub ethylene gas, which stops apples from rotting your other produce. It's not just an appliance, it's life support for expensive groceries. If you can tell what brand someone is wearing from 50 feet away, they probably aren't as rich as they want you to think they are. There is a phenomenon known as quiet luxury or stealth wealth. The elite versions of mundane clothing are almost aggressively boring to the untrained eye. This is the Succession aesthetic. Brands like The Row, Hermes, the ready-to-wear, not the belts with the H buckle, and Zegna specialize in this. A baseball cap from Loro Piana looks like a generic Navy hat you'd find at a gas station, but it's made of cashmere treated with a storm system waterproof coating and costs $600. The value proposition here is what economists call signaling. Loud logos are for people who need to prove they have money. No logos are for people who know that the only people who matter are the ones who can recognize the stitching on a Brioni suit. It also serves a security purpose. If you are walking down the street in London or New York wearing a shirt that screams Gucci makes you a target. Wearing a $5,000 Keaton jacket that looks like a generic windbreaker makes you invisible. The elite version of fashion isn't about standing out, it's about blending in with the highest quality camouflage available to man. Flying first class is great, but you still have to walk through the same airport as everyone else, unless you know about the secret door. Let's talk about the airport. Even if you fly first class on Delta or Emirates, you are still suffering. You are still taking off your shoes, standing in lines, and dealing with the chaos of the terminal. The truly elite mundane upgrade is avoiding the terminal entirely. This is services like PS at LAX, formerly the private suite. For an annual membership of a few $1,000s plus $4,000 per use, you go to a completely different building. You have a private bedroom and bathroom. TSA comes to you. When it's time to board, you don't walk down a jet bridge. You are driven across the tarmac in a BMW 7 Series directly to the stairs of the commercial plane, often boarding before the pilots or after everyone else is seated. But of course, that's just commercial. The real upgrade is NetJets. It's the Uber of private aviation. You buy a fractional share of a jet, say a Gulfstream G450. You need to be in Tokyo in 12 hours. The plane is waiting at a municipal airfield 20 minutes from your house. No security, no liquid restrictions, and you can bring your dog in the cabin. It transforms travel from an ordeal into a teleportation service. You care about your credit score and cashback points. The ultra-wealthy care about a phone number on the back of a titanium card. For 99% of the population, a credit card is a way to defer payment or get 2% cash back on gas. For the elite, a credit card is a skeleton key for the world. We aren't talking about the Platinum card. We are talking about the American Express Centurion or the Black Card and the JP Morgan Reserve card. The Centurion has an initiation fee of $10,000 and an annual fee of $5,000, but the perks have nothing to do with interest rates. It's about the concierge. This isn't a call center. It's a team of fixers. Legend has it, a Centurion cardholder once wanted a specific horse that Kevin Costner rode in the movie Dances with Wolves. The concierge located the horse and negotiated the sale. Another wanted sand from the Dead Sea shipped to London for a school project. Done. It's about access. These cards often provide after-hours access to high-end boutiques so you can shop without the public. The mundane act of paying is replaced by arranging. The card effectively removes the friction of logistics from your life. While you are insuring your Honda Civic against a fender bender, the wealthy are insuring their children against international cartels. Insurance is the most mundane financial product in existence, but the policies held by the ultra-wealthy read like the plot of a Liam Neeson movie. It's called K&R, Kidnap-and-Ransom Insurance. Companies like Lloyd's of London or AIG Private Client Group offer policies that don't just reimburse you for stolen jewelry, they cover the costs of crisis response teams. If a billionaire's family member is taken in South America or Southeast Asia, the insurance company doesn't just cut a check. They deploy a team of former SAS or Navy SEAL negotiators to handle the situation, deliver the ransom, which the insurance covers, and extract the asset. Furthermore, their home insurance isn't standard. It includes preventative measures. During the California wildfires, AIG's private client group dispatched private fire crews to spray fire-retardant foam on the mansions of their policyholders, saving the homes while the neighbors burned. The elite version of insurance isn't about financial compensation after a disaster. It's about active intervention to stop the disaster from affecting you in the first place. The longest wait time for a wealthy person in an emergency room is exactly 0 minutes because they don't go to the emergency room. Healthcare in the U.S. is a nightmare of bureaucracy and waiting rooms. But for the elite, the medical system is completely bypassed through concierge medicine on steroids. Services like World Clinic or Solis Health act as a private ER system. For a retainer of $20,000 to $50,000 a year, you get 24/7 access to top-tier physicians who give you their personal cell phone numbers. If you wake up with a fever at 3 a.m. in the Hamptons, they don't tell you to take 2 aspirin. They send a doctor to your bedside with an IV bag and a portable lab kit. Solace Health Centers look like 5-star hotel lounges, complete with MRI machines and CT scanners on site, exclusively for members. There is no paperwork at the desk. There is no out-of-network. If you need a specialist, you aren't put on a 6-month waiting list. You are seen tomorrow by the head of the department at Mount Sinai or Mayo Clinic because the concierge service has the connections to make it happen. It turns healthcare from a reactive, stressful necessity into a proactive, seamless service. Imagine never having to pay a bill, book a flight, or renew your car registration ever again. The ultimate elite version of a mundane thing is the management of life itself. Middle-class people have a to-do list. Rich people have a family office. Once your net worth exceeds about $100 million, you stop using a normal bank or accountant, and you incorporate yourself. A family office is a private company whose only product is you. It employs a full-time staff of investment managers, lawyers, and lifestyle managers. They handle the minutia. You don't pay your electric bill, the office does. You don't hire a nanny. The office HR department recruits, vets, and employs the nanny, complete with non-disclosure agreements and background checks. They manage the fleet of cars, ensuring they are serviced and fueled. They manage the properties, ensuring the pipes don't freeze in the Aspen house while you are in Saint-Tropez. This is the household manager, a 6-figure salaried professional whose job is to ensure the billionaire never encounters a mundane logistical problem. It is the complete automation of adulthood. In the end, the biggest luxury isn't gold or diamonds, it's the mathematical unfairness of durability. There is a famous passage in Terry Pratchett's Discworld series called the Samuel Vimes Boots Theory of Socioeconomic Unfairness. It states that a rich man can buy a pair of $50 boots that last 10 years, while a poor man can only afford $10 boots that last a season. Over 10 years, the poor man spends $100 on boots and still has wet feet, while the rich man spent $50 and has dry feet. This is the core truth of elite mundane items. The $50,000 stove, the handmade mattress, the Vicuña coat, they are expensive up front, but they remove the maintenance cost of life. They don't break, they don't wear out, and they don't need replacing. The elite version of the mundane isn't just about showing off, it's about exiting the cycle of disposability that the rest of us are trapped in. They aren't just buying things, they are buying permanence in a temporary world. And that, unfortunately, is the most expensive luxury of all.